2 months ago, I challenged viewers to make a Fakemon that fit at least 2 of these Pokedex entries. They are entries that come from real Pokemon. The one that lives in piles of scrap metal is Tinkatuff. The one that releases the energy in its belly with an uproarious laugh is Hisuian Voltorb, although the original entry says electric current, not energy, but I wanted to make it less type-specific. And the one that is drowsy in daytime but flies off in big groups at night is Drifblim. 3 very different Pokedex entries from 3 very different Pokemon. But that's exactly what makes this challenge interesting. What connections can we create between these bits and pieces? Where do our ideas end up similar, and where do they diverge? 58 people submitted a design, and today I will share those with you. Every fanmon that was submitted is included in this video, but I asked for help from 3 of my artist friends to comb through the entries and pick our favorites. We'll put the spotlight on the best submissions and share the designs we ourselves created for this challenge as well. So before we jump in, let's meet the curators. I'll actually go first, so that anyone who's watching that hasn't watched any videos of mine before can get to know me. So I'm Libris, my pronouns are he, him. I make videos about all kinds of things, all kinds of Pokemon things. I do a lot of art, but not only. You can pretty much only follow me here on YouTube or on Mastodon. I'll have the link for that in the description. Donovan, tell us about you.
I am Donovan, aka Gamer Knight on Twitter and Doodle Lounge, the YouTube channel I run with my 2 buddies, James and Jeff. Pronouns he, him, and I mostly draw Fakemon, but that's because that's what I started learning digital art with. But I do other stuff. I like doing just gaming and fantasy in general.
All right. Lynn, how about you?
I'm Elite Trainer Lynn, she, her. I make fun casual videos about Pokemon using my own art. Sometimes I also complain about Ed Sheeran. I'm not someone who's like really into the competitive side of Pokemon, so it's mostly art or like lore and world building and design. And I primarily make content for YouTube, but I also post art on Instagram and Twitter sometimes. And I still call it Twitter, because X is a Pokemon game.
Good point, well made.
And I am Virgolophus, or Virgolophus. I forget how to pronounce the name, but yes, the nickname is Virgo. I am not on YouTube. I am not a very good YouTube personality because I don't have any videos and I don't really plan on. Maybe, I don't know, one day. But I am mostly someone that you can find on Twitter, on DeviantArt, a little bit on Tumblr, just anywhere that says the name Virgolophus, except for Tumblr, which is just Virgolophus with archive. I do some Fakemon from time to time, but I just usually do some general fan art and Pokemon-related lore stuff. Romantic. Anyways. Oh, and my pronouns are she, her. Sorry.
So we'll start with the ones that make their homes in piles of scrap metal and that discharge energy from their bellies and then let out a great uproarious laugh. We can just quickly scroll through the Pokemon that were in this group and maybe talk about general commonalities and things like that.
Well, definitely barrel-chested in some form.
Yeah, I guess in general the commonalities happen more between the like specific dex entries rather than the pairs. So, but yes, the ones that have energy in the belly often have very large chests or very large bellies.
Lots of steel types.
Lots of electric types as well. In this pairing in particular, it makes sense because it's the scrap metal and the belly energy.
Rusty colors, or gray or rust.
Were there any honorable mentions, any that you want to point out that you liked, but that we're not going to spend too much time on?
Hantium is one, definitely.
Yeah, like I could see this as a Pokemon.
Yeah, me too. It's very cute.
He was almost one of my picks because he just looked so Gen 1. There was just a few details I thought needed some adjustment.
I really like the idea of high tech.
Yeah, me too.
It was really unique among all of the entries. There are other hyenas, which I
think it's because of the laughing.
few people went for hyenas, but this kind of like inventor hyena I thought was a really unique pairing.
That was one of my favorite kind of high tech. I thought the name was really funny.
And then another hyena that I did also really like was Scavhyenger. But let's move on to the ones that we specifically picked to highlight. So if we go in alphabetical order, the first one I want to talk about is the one that I picked, Burnobo. Well, number one, I appreciate that it was done in pixel art. And the pixel art is really well done for the Pokemon style of pixel art, for especially like Gen 4 kind of era. But it has a simplicity to it that I really appreciate. I think it really captures the balance that Pokemon typically goes for in terms of like the complexity of the design versus simplicity, of having a personality, but also feeling enough like a creature as opposed to a character. The face, I really love the face. It looks very peaceful. It reminds me of another Pokemon with fire in its belly, or with energy in its belly. It reminds me a lot of Torkoal. It has a lot of Torkoal elements. I don't know if there was any Torkoal inspiration to it, but it's like if Torkoal was made as a furnace instead of as a turtle.
I almost picked Burnobo because just right when I saw it, I was like, that looks like a real Pokemon. And I could also see it as an evolution to Torkoal even.
Yeah, I feel like it's more some kind of like counterpart to Torkoal.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be like in another region. It's like their Torkoal.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
It's just a really well-made Pokemon, I think.
It's just good. It's simple. That's all I can really say. It's just it's effective. It's simple. It's good.
So the next one is Kirion. Pronunciation is always a little bit tricky.
I think I was saying Kirion. First of all, like the guy's comment is, I'm also a sucker for standing reptile kaiju looking Pokemon. I also really liked the kind of Gen 1-ish art. It almost seems like Gen 2, just because he's a little bit more advanced looking, but he's got that Gen 1 coloring style. I didn't really notice at first that he has like a translucent belly where you can see everything like churning and broiling inside of him. I thought it was like just reflection stuff, but when I was looking at it closer, I was like, no, there's something in there. And it's like lava lamping almost.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. I saw it as some kind of lava lamp kind of situation.
And then he looks like he'd be a great rival to like Rhydon and Rhyperior with the way his body is structured. He's almost like he was mechanically inspired by. I like the idea of his drill fingers. I could see them like retracting and becoming like he could shoot lasers. He's really well designed. I liked the colors as well. He looks robotic, but there's just enough pop of color on him to keep him interesting.
I thought this was a great one as well, and to me, it could easily be a counterpart to Tyranitar. It's like the Godzilla and the Mechagodzilla, but not only that, like thematically, obviously, it's fitting, but in terms of like the aesthetics and many of the design elements are quite similar. Like Tyranitar has that kind of division right below its chest that is very similar to what Kirion has as well. Oh, and I guess Tyranitar also has like a design on its belly that works as a counterpart here.
It's a really cool Pokemon. They really capture that Gen 1, 2 like art style. It looks like it could be like a real Pokemon from that era.
I like it well enough, but it didn't really make my my top list. I don't. I say that, but I don't want to be like negative. I'm not saying it as a negative. It's just, I guess for me, it doesn't hit me specifically. Like it might just need just a little bit more, or maybe I like a different style of Pokemon.
Yeah, that happens, right? Like the kinds of Pokemon that we like are different. So often it could be a interesting Pokemon design, but not one that particularly works for us.
Well, it works. It's just maybe it's not as exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that touches on like when they were first creating Pokemon, where he's like, man, we need more cute ones. And so he went and found that girl artist, and she ended up making like Pikachu and a bunch of the starters and stuff. And like, so those different perspectives and tastes are really needed in Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then Lynn, you chose Smogstack to highlight.
I did. I think it's an amazing Pokemon. And I like how they said it's partly based on the Iron Giant, because I really loved that movie when I was a kid. And it reminds me a bit of Golurk, kind of the same vibes. And that's a good thing in my opinion, because I like Golurk. I think they did a really good job, like with the colors, making it look like rust on the metal, everything like that. Green smoke. It's just a really cool Pokemon.
Yeah, I really like the Smokestack shoulders.
It has like the Pokemon, I don't know what to call it, like when they make it slightly goofy looking. So it's not like too cool.
Right.
I think it hits that perfectly.
I liked the design too, and it's because it seems so Golurkian that I didn't put it on any of my lists. I felt like we kind of already had that niche filled. The created golem kind of thing. Otherwise, it's a really great design. I just felt like we kind of already had that. But that happens in Pokemon too. Like we have, like Gen all of Gen 5 is just Kanto again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I really do appreciate the design. I like the concept that after Unova, they started to go really intricate with the designs. So yes, it's very Golurk, but I kind of like that it's very Golurk. I like this concept maybe just a little. Well, I can't say that I like it more than Burnovo. I think Burnovo and Smokestack work really well hand in hand together.
Yeah, you can see them like being in the same habitat.
Yeah, and I think that they this design is just very, very well made. It's very unique, and it is so befitting of an old school RPG from the SNES era that it would be really cute to see this kind of Pokemon.
All right. Well, none of us chose to use this pair of Pokedex entries for our Pokemon, so we can move on to the next category, which are the Pokemon that make their homes in piles of scrap metal, but they are drowsy in the daytime and fly off in the evening in big groups, and no one knows where they go. A lot of steel types here as well. Also a lot of electric types, but also a lot of birds. I think the flies off in the evening, even though it comes from a flying type that's not a bird. There are a lot of birds that use this Pokedex entry, which makes sense. That is expected. Honorable mentions.
I really like Melaverna. I really like dragons, and I really like dinosaurs, and it's kind of both. I just think it's cool.
It's a unique one, and for this pair of Dex entries, like I guess there's one other dragon, but very different kind of approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
I almost picked Melaverna because it was just really well done. It almost looks like a real Pokemon. The pop of color was great for I guess it's heat, maybe, is what's going on. And I also like dragon and dinosaur Pokemon, so it was really hard for me to not pick them because it was good design. I think it's the Como-O that we deserved.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lumet. It has a similarity with another one that I think in the all three category that we are going to highlight later. Like it looks like a friendly little guy, and like I think that's the most important thing to make a good Pokemon is that it's you can see it as your friend.
Mm-hmm. No matter how cool or mean they are, they got to look friend shaped.
Yeah,
number one rule.
And yeah, that guy.
Yeah, Plendrick also
Amazing.
has a ton of personality to it. I love the like weird proportions to it.
Yeah, very cartoony.
It threw me off when I first saw it because I was like, what am I looking at here? And I was like, it took me a second to realize he's holding something in his hands because I was like, I'm thinking, the head's on top and the body's on bottom. Like, what am I looking at? It's like, he's got tiny little feet. And so yeah, it took a second for my eyes to adjust to that one.
Yeah, I could totally see it in 3D being, fluttering around and making faces and things like that. So, Donovan, you chose to highlight Smelvern.
So yeah, it was kind of between him and what was the other one, Melaverna. But Smelvern was just so well done. Like the line art, the design, he looks like a genuine, real object Pokemon. And I'm usually not a big fan of object Pokemon. they're kind of just for me. They don't really go anywhere because a lot of them lack personality. But just everything about this is it looks exactly like what they would design for like a big, I don't know, he's almost like a furnace toy magnet robot thing. I don't even know what he is, but he's like just really well done. And the colors were great. He didn't use like all the same, it wasn't grays. He did like a brass and kind of a rusty kind of thing. And then he did like his arms literally are colored where you can see that they are magnetic. And what I didn't notice was his little turny thing on top of him is actually his face, because it's like drooling out of the little mouth thing, because it's like got a leak.
Oh, maybe. I was seeing the green parts as the eyes.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure what was the face and what's not the face.
What's weird is I think like on his little X thing, I think that's where his eye is, but then like his turny thing is like his mouth, and it's like almost a false face. I don't know. It was just really fascinating. There was like, it could go either way. And like, yeah, the thing around his belly with the two lights, those could be his eyes too. It's like, you don't know where you're looking at. And that's what makes him kind of interesting. He's got like 3 faces on him.
That's true.
This reminds me of Golurk as well, in terms of it's kind of mechanical, and it has this kind of glowing energy from the inside. But it's also, it has kind of Golurk vibes, but it does not look like Golurk at all, except I guess for the like patch, like the X in the middle. I guess that's a similar design element to Golurk, but like other than that, it's
almost like steampunk Golurk.
It is very steampunk, and I do really like that. I do want to give a shout out to this one in particular because the artist Chinglin, I know him as Jerry on Twitter. It was actually basically his idea to do this challenge. He responded to an earlier multiple Pokemon from the same prompt kind of thing, saying that he wishes he could participate, like knowing what the prompt is ahead of time so that he could do his own. That's what gave me the idea to do this challenge and just put out an open prompt and have whoever wants to participate submit. And so thank you for that interaction and for that idea. That's what made this happen. All right, so 2 of you decided to use this pair of Pokedex entries, so I think it's time. Donovan, you get to reveal yours first.
Okay, so I actually picked my 2 dex entries, and I had an idea in my head what I wanted to do. So piles of scrap metal kind of made me think of something that lives on a pile of stuff, and I instantly got the picture of a dragon laying on its gold hoard, but like maybe a dragon that lives out of scrap metal or wears scrap metal or whatnot, and it like, you know, kind of the whole what's one man's junk is another man's treasure kind of thingy. So I started drawing, and it just wasn't working out right. And so then I got another idea, and then it was too humanoid, and I ended up kind of merging some things, and then it gave me an idea because it started looking like kind of a Mega Man dragon. And I was like, well, Game Freak had a thing, their very first game, Pulseman. So I decided to bring some aspects of Pulseman into the design.
Ooh.
And the dragon hoards scrap metal. He makes his own junkyard. And it's kind of, it makes his cave more defensible and whatnot. But he ends up using scrap metal from a long discarded project. And that's what he uses as his armor. And that's how you get your Scrapplegon.
Ooh, I love this.
Oh, not what I was expecting. It actually fits in, or like makes Melaverna less of a standout, just in terms of like the approach this is quite similar.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's like, junk metal, and then like Pulseman's kind of like Game Freak's forgotten thing. And then the guy, I can't think of his name right now. The one that's famous for designing Pokemon. I watched a thing called He Didn't Want to Be the Pokemon Guy. And he's actually a really big fan of his design for Pulseman. And so it kind of came back to the whole what's junk for everybody else is another man's treasure kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just came all in circle for me. And so I decided to put that in there. So I brought some Pulseman into Pokemon.
The combination of the concepts there is really great. But yeah, I could totally see this as a character that just collects like all of these little bits of metal to like improve itself on.
Yeah, I went through so many designs before I came up with that one. It was so hard to try to put a dragon in the Pulseman armor because his helmet is so human shaped, and it was so hard to figure out what to do with that.
But you did a great job. Like how you translated every part to like a dragon. Super well made.
Even if not Pokemon, I think like this design is just it's so official to some sort of RPG, some sort of JRPG. It looks like it's straight up like from a JRPG, like an official AAA game.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go with like the Pokemon style or anything because Pulseman was kind of divergent of that, and so I kind of went with mine plus like a Mega Man style.
Yeah.
But I think if you took the armor off, he would look like a Pokemon. Like I tried to design the body underneath to look very Pokemon, but the armor on top, I went with Mega Man.
It does really look like it's a boss in some video game.
It probably passes a Digimon.
I kind of did want to say like it looks like a Digimon, but because it looks like a Digimon is such a bad word amongst Pokemon fans.
Yeah.
I was concerned that you would take it like the wrong way, because I think this is a really really good Digimon, to be honest. It is so well, it's perfect. It's honestly perfect. If not Pokemon, then like Digimon can indeed have this as a rookie. Regardless if like Digimon or Pokemon or RPGs, this reminds me of like a really specific time period in, JRPGs, probably like 2000s maybe. So it's the kind of nostalgia that's like giving me like from this Pokemon design is just really, I like it a lot. I genuinely love it a lot. And I would like to see it I think it would fit in the new generation, because the new generations are so wacky with its art style that I think this thing should be in there just to like trip everybody off. Like, oh, this is like a Digimon. I don't care. Well, have you seen the mecha stuff that we have now? Well, put it in there.
All right. In the interest of time, I think we should move on and see what Virgo has for us.
So when I was designing this concept, I was just thinking of one Pokemon. So for now, it is like, well, you could say there's a single stage, but you could also say that maybe it evolves. But, well, this Pokemon, I was thinking to myself, okay, so flies off in the evening and scrap metal. And the first thing I thought of was, well, nocturnal creature. Nocturnal, what is something that's nocturnal? And also, why would it hoard scrap metal? Well, maybe to eat it, because a lot of Pokemon, the basic design concept is we think about what it eats. And okay, so maybe it eats scrap metal. And my thought was, well, what is something that generally eats scrap metal? Maybe like in a movie I saw once, where there was like this monster that was collecting scrap metal in order to make a spaceship to return to its home planet. And then this is the Pokemon that I designed. I don't have a name for it yet.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh.
And that's not the only art I've made of it. I made a different form where it's just like it's when it's in flight. So this is the flight form.
Oh, whoa.
Aww.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's adorable.
I love this so much.
It's like an alien bat, and I love it. This is not where I thought you were going. I did not know what you were doing.
Me either,
I love
honestly.
his flying saucer cloud. It was that's really a good idea. The flying saucer cloud is very unique.
I've struggled a lot thinking about how to make this thing fly, because I didn't want to give it wings in its normal form, because the whole thing about like being a little T-posing green alien is just it conveys a lot of like personality right off the bat. So giving it wings would just kind of like, well, then it just has its wings open. So then I thought about, well, maybe it expands in its little like collar and it rotates it around itself like the little crescent moons. So it looks like it's spinning, and then those those little colors on the cloud or on the fluff. I was
just noting those, yeah.
Are actually lights. They're lights. So when you see them flying off in a group, you actually see like the little like lights going woo woo woo, like like a UFO, like a bunch of UFOs.
Yeah, that's amazing. I really want to share mine now, but it'll have to wait.
I love this thing's eyes. It looks like a mythical almost.
Yeah, it
does.
does.
I think it has
Yeah.
mythical energy. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it fits in with Celebi.
But I can see it as a kind of late game single stage Pokemon as well.
Or even like, the Mesprit and Uxie kind, like,
Oh, yeah, maybe,
a
yeah.
small pseudo legendary or something.
Well, maybe, because I did think about like an evolution where it does get tall. So it's like, this is the little green man. And then the evolution is like a pretty tall looking alien, but has longer ears. Because so the concepts were, okay, so a bat and, little green man, because so the bat ears can make it look like a giant head. But then the long ears could, like, when it evolves, can, like, go down, like, kind of like hair, not really hair, but like a rabbit, like a moon bunny.
Oh,
But the
okay.
thing about this little alien critter is, it's not actually an alien. It is a natural, like, Earth evolved pixie that just steals, like, metal objects because it wants to eat them. Where I was thinking about the lore for this specific species that would be somewhere around the Arizona, like an Arizona region. I say region, but, in this specific area, maybe somewhere around Ore, there is this, talks about Area 51. And then so there's this little critter that everybody thinks is actually an alien. It's so mysterious. Like, we don't know where it goes. We don't know where they all go. But they're just like little pixie bats. All they are is just these little, like, weird pixie bats that steal your stuff. And that's why the file name is Duende. It's a joke because I watch a lot of like certain streamers on Twitch. So the duende, little gnome guy, little fairy who's like, stealing your things. So I was thinking maybe it's like a steel fairy type, maybe a psychic fairy type, steel fairy, probably steel fairy. And it really just is this little fairy that people mistake for a little green man.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I love the way that the ears, like when it's standing, you can clearly tell that it's ears, but when it's flying, it just looks like an elongated, like an oblong alien head.
Amazing.
And I really like how, like, this is very cute, but it's not like conventionally cute. Like, it's not cute in the way that, like, I don't know, Jigglypuff is. Like, Gen 9 had a lot of Pokemon that were kind of like that. That's like, it's a little bit ugly, but it's cute because of it.
Good, exactly. That's what I wanted.
This feels very fitting for the current moment of Pokemon.
I do have like a little. I was going to have a full sketch of this, but I ran out of time. I do have a couple of like sketches, concept sketches where it's one of my favorite ones is where it's eating like some of that scrap metal. So it has like a big mouth, and then here's the sketch of it eating. It's a very, very messy sketch, but,
Aw.
It's cute.
Oh, yeah, you can see it, yeah.
Adorable.
Nice. I think we need to move on to the next category. These are the Pokemon that, when excited, they discharge energy stored in its belly, then lets out a great uproarious laugh. And it's drowsy in the daytime, but flies off in the evening in big groups, and no one knows where they go. A lot of birds in this category. It's interesting, there's at least 3, but I think 4 Pokemon that are explicitly based on a Kookaburra.
Right, I noticed that.
There's Kukabruja, which I love the name, and I think the design is also very effective. Oh yeah, this is, I can tell by the name now that this is also a Kookaburra. So Bugagura, which is some kind of clown
I like
bird.
that one.
Kukubura and Nimbura that are both flying in electric types, although they flip the order. The Kookaburra was strong with this pair.
I think it's the laugh.
Yeah.
Probably the combination of the flying and the laugh. Florizkit is pretty unique in this category. I think it's very cute.
I was going to put this, I think, in my honorable mentions, but because I did not really want to put it in a higher tier, because I recognize right away that's like, wait a minute, it's 9-Bolt from WarioWare.
Oh, okay.
Which it's fine. I think it's totally fine to do that, but for me, it was just kind of like, oh, well, I couldn't really think of it as its own Pokemon. All I could really think about it is it's a 9-Volt. It's a Pokemon version of the 9-Volt character from WarioWare.
Friggrace, I liked the simplicity of it, but it also reminds me of something, and I can't place what it is. Like something about the head, I just like the simplicity and the colors were nice. It just, for some reason, it really came off as familiar. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it has a like nice, simple elegance to it. I do appreciate that.
Sugaroo is pretty cute too.
It's very unique. I like that it seems to fly with its ears.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like my kind of Pokemon, but I could see it working.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. That creeps me out.
So the one that we want to highlight here is Lynn. You wanted to highlight Glamudi.
Yeah. Is that how you say it? Glamudi? I don't know, but I really like it because I'm like really weak for Pokemon that has like a big toothy smile, which this one has. So like Apom, Darumaka, or Wailmer. So it gave me like those cute smile vibes. And it's also kind of what I would have liked Orbeetle to be, because I'm not a fan of Orbeetle. I think it looks very like clunky. But this one is just like a little cute guy. It's just a cute guy, kind of little bug guy.
Yeah, it's a friendly, cute guy. Like,
yeah, it's friend shaped.
That's all you need, exactly. The comments say that it has a different version.
Oh yeah.
This is the switch on mode, and there is a switch down mode. They didn't include that in the submission, but I'd be curious to see what that looks like.
Yeah, me too. I like it on its own as well, but it will be really interesting to see it.
I like the wings a lot.
Yeah, they're really cool. I know we already have a few like ladybug Pokemon, but like we can have another one. It's fine.
I mean, we've got enough bats and cats and dogs.
Exactly. Let's a couple more.
Okay, so I think that is time for me to share mine. So I do also have a bit of backstory, and I want to share some earlier versions that I made. There was one thing in particular that I wanted to accomplish with this challenge in general, like regardless of which Pokedex entries I chose. I wanted to make a Pokemon that was just its own thing, rather than being like a cat Pokemon, right? Like rather than being a creature, I wanted it to just be a Pokemon, kind of in the way that Breloom is just Breloom. Like, you could say that it's a mushroom, dinosaur, kangaroo, but like...
It's just Breloom.
You can't shorten it beyond that. Like, yeah, exactly. It's just Breloom. But throughout my process, I had this idea of, and this will sound familiar to you, Virgo, I wanted this idea of a UFO bird. And I tried a lot of variations on it that the wings would be kind of weirdly shaped so that it looks like a UFO when it's flying, but would look like a bird when it's roosting. But I just wasn't liking any of the body shapes that I was coming up with. And ultimately, well, not ultimately, but eventually I decided to make it this.
Oh.
I like it, but it is just an owl. And so I wasn't super satisfied with how it ended up.
Oh, this isn't not the final design.
This is not the final design.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay, keep going.
But this is so cute already.
This was the final design until like a week before the deadline. I think I was still like reconsidering the colors, but other than that, that's what I was going with. But I wasn't like 100% satisfied with it. And then two things happened. One is that when I shared the silhouette of this Pokemon, and I asked what people thought it was, and one person said that it's a jellyfish UFO. And I was like, oh, that's actually a better idea than the owl. So thank you, Fruit, for that comment. That made me reconsider. And the other thing is that Dead Bedspread's submission, they posted a short talking about the process, and they used the Flies in the Evening entry, and they said, oh, if it flies off, so it's probably a bird. And that made me go like the Pokedex entry doesn't come from a bird, and I didn't want to make it just a bird, so I have to make it something that's not just a bird. So you know what? I'm going to make it a bird jellyfish. And this is still not the final entry, but this is probably what the like first stage would look like.
Interesting.
It's like a owl, jellyfish, UFO alien. Like, I like this. I like this better than the owl, but it feels just a little bit normal. I want to know what the evolution looks like. This is what I came up with. This is the final entry.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's very regal, like you would expect of a jellyfish. I like that, and it adds to the like the wise owl. It's really cool. It looks like an alien that would be at like a galactic council or something. I like that.
I like the colors a lot.
Yeah, it's a good color combination.
It's like a nice sunset.
The colors come from, I took inspiration from nebula, like various kinds of nebula. There's an owl nebula, there's a jellyfish nebula, so those were the ones I was specifically looking for. But yes, like space photos always have such nice colors.
Yeah, this is really cool. I mean, I do also like the first owl.
I like it too. It just like wasn't hitting the spot for me.
I think you forgot about this bird.
Well, yeah, I definitely did not think about that bird, a bird of paradise. Perhaps I could have gone with something like that. I think my mind got stuck on the owl because there's actually a lot of good reasons.
Evening.
Like it flies in the evening, so like it's already nocturnal. There is an owl nebula. There's like
so true.
There's like conspiracies about owls being aliens or like having some kind of supernatural connection to UFOs or something like that. So like thematically, the owl just made perfect sense. Mm-hmm. And maybe if I thought of a bird of paradise, maybe I could have come up with something that was like a bit an owl, a bit a bird of paradise, so that it would work. But yeah, I got stuck on the owl, and so when the jellyfish came in, I was like, this is exactly what I needed.
I like it though. I like the jellyfish. I think the final jellyfish design is great.
It was a really unique combo, and it turned out really good. They worked together really well. I could see this as like a Pokemon from Deoxys' Pokemon Planet.
Like it's definitely meant to look like an owl, look like a jellyfish, look like a UFO. Also has elements of actual aliens and not just the UFO, but the like big eyes are definitely like meant to be classic alien style. The tentacles coming from the belly, that's also meant to look like the tractor beam from a stereotypical UFO.
Oh,
nice.
And of course it has the lights around the side that would shine, and people see them flying off and they think of them as UFOs.
I think he did a really good design.
I'm very happy with it in the end, and it does fulfill everything that I wanted to accomplish with this design. It's not just a bird, and it's not just a creature, and it's a combination of multiple things. So
whenever I do these Fakemon collabs and stuff, I like to kind of imagine the creature in animation, and I could just see this thing being able to open its wing things, but like almost where they can expand like greatly, and then it does like the octopus color change thing to hypnotize you or whatever. And then I could also see like its little stinger tentacles being able to stretch for a really long far away.
I did not think about it like expanding and changing its cloak, but that is very fitting for the concept. And yeah, it's definitely stretching out the tractor beam in order to pick up and paralyze its prey or whatever. I like to picture it just like undulating as it flies. Like a jellyfish undulates as it swims.
Like a table curtain in the wind.
Yes, exactly. All right. Lynn.
Oh no, is it my time? Okay.
I'm excited to see what you came up with.
Well, I'm glad. Well, I decided that I would make a dragon. That was like my idea. Before I even picked which lines, I just decided it's gonna be a dragon. Bellybell.
Oh no, I love it!
Oh,
I want it!
A clown that doesn't creep me out.
Oh.
It's more of a jester. It's super cute.
It's the jester dragon Pokemon. So it sleeps during the day, and people just mistake it for like a plushie toy.
Nice.
Because it's so cute and soft and just lies around. And then during the night, they gather together in different places that nobody knows how they know where, but they find each other somehow. And then they perform acrobatics for each other to make each other laugh. And then the sound of laughter powers them up. And then the built-up power releases. And from the bell on their belly, they're like little comedians kind of. They power each other up by laughing at each other. And then also their bells jingle. The bells jingle when they move around, so they're actually kind of annoying. especially because they're only like awake at night.
At least you can never lose them.
Your trainers will like find them during the day and think that they're really like docile, nice Pokemon because they're just lying around. And then during the night, they just get really annoying.
I could picture it so that you can hear the bells, and then you have to like figure out where it's coming from so that you can find the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just staring at you, like it's pitch black in your room, and just staring at you from the other side with the bells on, like caught because you looked at it and it's trying to get out.
I love the face, like the eye in particular. I really like that.
It's both clown and plush. It's really good.
Yeah, that kind of empty plush stare that I find very cute because I love plushies.
What you were describing, Lynn, you were describing them like playing around and making each other laugh because of the way that it's like it looks kind of floppy, like the wings are floppy, things like that. I was picturing it just like flying and like doing a loop-de-loop kind of thing, but then just falling.
Yeah, they probably would.
And like that seems adorable and hilarious, and like I could totally see that working. And then you have the bells too to like emphasize the crash onto the ground.
Yeah, I think they move around kind of like a plush would. Like they're kind of a little bit like clumsy, but in a cute way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they're tripping on their own fabric and stuff.
Yeah.
I can see that they could maybe like glide like short distances before like what Libra says, where they like just kind of crash into the ground. And, like,
yeah, that's so fun. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
This is going to be a fan favorite. Everybody's going to love this thing.
So I think we can move on to the final category, which is all 3 Pokedex entries. This collection was really strong. If I wasn't, trying to look for variety, majority of my picks would have been from this category. There's a lot of good stuff here, and a lot of variety too. Like obviously, there's a lot of like more kind of artificial looking things because of the scrap metal, I assume. But the approaches are so different. A Hodeer is not one that we're going to spend a lot of time on.
But we have to honorable mention.
This is absolutely an honorable mention because it is just so unique.
So good.
Yeah, and I appreciate the kind of extra challenge that the artist gave themselves of not reusing the types from the original Pokemon and to make it a single type. And so like I can absolutely see it fitting all 3 of the Pokedex entries. It actually has the bell. Like yours, Lynn.
It would actually pair up really well where the Hodeers deliver the belly bellies. Yeah,
I love that.
Kids.
So, Bladderroach, Virgo, you wanted to point out that one.
Oh yeah, I think Bladderroach is probably like one of the closest I've seen to being an official design, especially like Gen 9 and beyond. I mean, just look at it. First of all, it combines all 3 dex entries. So it's like, wow, you went above and beyond. The color scheme is super tight. Like it's on point. The shapes are on point, and, the 2 different, forms in a sense, whereas one is off and like not exactly, it's drowsy because it's the daytime, and then at nighttime, that's when it's like powered up because it's about to, have a party. And yeah, I just, the expression, the eyes, the little mouth that connects to the eyes, everything is just so solid about the design. It's unbelievable. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I love the belly design too. Like I could see it like drumming on its belly. Like it looks to me like it's like tapping on the belly and it would make noise like that. And it looks like it's having so much fun.
Yeah, I imagine it maybe like hits it like super rapidly fast and causes like a shockwave kind of thing.
I thought it was a boombox or...
It's definitely some kind of sound Pokemon because apparently they act as groupies and the audience for their rock and roll evolution.
I want to see the evolution.
Yeah, I want to see what the evolution looks like.
It is a very good bug Pokemon design. It feels like we don't get a lot of cool, quote unquote, bug Pokemon designs. They're usually kind of meh, or they're meant to look weak because they don't, you're not supposed to use them for the whole game. So this is like on par with like evolution of Wimpod.
Oh, Golisopod. Yeah, it has a bit of a Wimpod feel to it. Yeah, and Galwat as well.
When I saw Galwat, I was... First of all, I was disappointed because I was like, oh, wait, this is actually a very good bat compared to mine. Also, like the silhouettes in the background, like I could see it flying. I was like, wow, that is extremely good. If I could say one negative, it is that the silhouette is a little too much like Rotom, which is unfortunate. But to be honest, it's simple, it's effective, it's stage 1 out of 3. So, you know, who knows what it'll evolve into. But it's because I did a bat, this is obviously like, oh man, this is actually a way better take on the vampire bat kind of idea that I had.
I don't know about better. It's just so different.
It's different. It is very different. And I like the big old eyes. I like the colors. And I like the movement. I like the expression of movement and the sort of Objectmon-ish take on it.
Yeah, I love that light bulb body.
I love his little clippy feet. It's very Rotom energy. I can't help but imagine it moving a lot like Rotom.
Yeah, it almost looks like an evolution of Rotom.
Yeah. But it's a stage 1 of 3, so I think it's okay for a Pokemon to look sometimes even too much like another at the start if they evolve in unique ways, right?
Yeah.
If this was supposed to be a single stage Pokemon, I would think it's a little too unfortunate that it looks that the silhouette and like the shape of the wing is so much like Rotom. But because it evolves, and not only once but twice, the design is strong enough that it can stand on its own.
Very true.
And if that's all that we want to say about that one, I can finish off with the last one, Watitiri. I'm not sure where to put the emphasis on that one, but basically they were able to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish with the owl. Obviously, like I'm very happy with my jellyfish owl, but this kind of design where it is a bird, but the shape of the wings is just right to make it look like a UFO. This is like what I was trying to accomplish with the owl. It's just such a cool hawk. I love the way that the underside of the wings glow, and it still has this. I'm not actually entirely sure what that is, but like the chest that like expands out when the energy bursts out or something like that. That's just, it's so cool.
Yeah, I was having a hard time telling if it was like a form change or an evolution because the wings from those two are different, and then the tail is like open and then not open. So it's like, this is a form change.
I think it's just a very like changeable Pokemon. Like it looks like the feet possibly extend out to be part of the tail. It's just a Pokemon that folds in on itself in unique ways. It's like almost like an origami or something. That allows it to take on all of these unique shapes and silhouettes. And I think that's awesome.
I like the small flying form on the left. It looks like a stealth bomber.
I want to specify that this is not actually based on a bird of prey, but a parrot.
Oh.
The ones that disassemble cars in New Zealand. What? There's a parrot that takes apart cars?
Well, they pick at cars. They pick at everything, really. They're so smart, and they know that kind of gets people's attention, where they start to like destroy things because they are, they have large beaks. They have beaks that are like evolved to probe into crevices and nuts. And because they want to always be playful and kind of like mischievous, that's what they do. They destroy a lot of stuff in New Zealand.
That makes it perfectly fitting for living in piles of scrap metal then. And that is all of them. 58 Fakemon made from a single prompt. Thank you, Donovan, Lynn, and Vergolifus for helping me curate the designs. And above all, thank you to everyone who submitted. Whether you're an experienced Fakemon artist or this was the first drawing you ever made, I truly appreciate the time and thought you gave to this challenge. There were some fantastic Pokemon designs, including ones that we didn't really talk about. I hope you had fun participating. And whether you participated or not, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Comment below with which design was your favorite, and especially if it was one that we didn't discuss, I would love to hear what you liked about it. I will make another challenge like this at some point, but not right away. I hope you have a good holiday season and enjoy playing the Indigo Disc, and I'll see you in the next challenge.